spark growth. We're gonna read.
And do a project.
Stay tuned.
Hi there. My name is Mrs. Stein, and I'm so glad you're joining me today for our Spark Growth Read Aloud activity. And today I'll be reading a book that is part of the National Endowment for the Arts Big Read Morongo Basin. The title of the book is At the Mountain's Base. It was written by Traci Sorrell. Before I read the book, let's go over the parts of the book. We're going to look at this part of the book. This part of the book has some really good information about what's inside the book, and also some key details about the story itself, who wrote the story, and who illustrated the pictures. Okay? This part of the book, front cover. You guessed it. On the front cover is the title of this book, At the Mountain's Base, right? Big, bold letters. There's also illustrations that tell us more about the story. The person whose name is just below the title has a special title themselves. They wrote the words to this book. Remember what we call the person that writes the words of the story or the book? The author. You got it. And the author of this book is Traci Sorrell. Now, these amazing images were drawn or colored by another individual. Do you remember what we call the person who puts the images or the drawings or paintings sometimes on the book or in the book? You got it, the illustrator. And the illustrator of this book is Washoya Alvitre. Let's turn it around. So if that was the front of the book, what would this be? Back, right? The back of the book. The back of the book has some images, not as many as the front, and has words that tell us something about what we're going to read. Also on the back is a little square, usually or a rectangle, that's got funny lines. It's a barcode, right? This barcode contains information about this book. It'll have the title of the book, right? In a special number that's in that barcode called the Isbn Number, the International Standard Book Number. That, yes, gives us the title, tells us the publisher of the book, the author, the illustrator, where we might find it, and how much it might cost, right? Let's hold the book this way. That is a very important part of this book, right? It has a very special purpose. Keeps the book upright, keeps the pages inside together. Do you remember what we call that? Right? Similar to what keeps our body up straight. Spine. Yes, the spine. So this spine has an important job. It'll have the title. It has the author on there as well. Hard to read, but that's important because if it's in a bookshelf, you'll be able to find that book by its title, right? So outside of the book, let's see what we have before we go into the inside of the book. I'm going to take this part off because this book has something special. It's got a paper cover on the front that goes around the book and continues towards the back, right? That paper has this very special purpose. That paper is called, yes, book jacket, or sometimes they call it a dust jacket, because it helps protect the book. Just like if you wear a jacket, sometimes go outside, it'll protect you from getting too cold, right? So book jackets protect, and they also have information sometimes on the inside flap about the story, right? Sometimes about the author and the illustrator. And on the back as well, on the inside flap, it'll have information, right? The curious thing about this that I found out is when I took the jacket off, I want you to see something. Is the book itself the same as the jacket? No. Look how colorful it is. Did you see any words? No. So that I found very interesting about this book, because it really doesn't tell us the name of the book at all or give us information. But it sure is colorful, and it's got some real interesting texture-looking picture on the front. That is a clue for part of our story. Okay, so let's look inside our book. Some colors, right? Wow, beautiful artwork. Do you know that sometimes books on the inside have what's called a dedication page? That means the author wrote this book for somebody in particular. They dedicated the book. And this author dedicated this book to Native veterans, because this book is about Native Americans and about veterans who serve in the military. This author dedicated this book to Native American veterans. She also dedicated it to her grandmother and her mom. That's pretty cool. Write a story and dedicate it to someone you care about, right? So that's the dedication page. This gives us a lot of information, right? Does it look like our cover? In some ways. The words look the same. At the mountain's base, the title's the same. Picture's the same? Oh, interesting. This page, because it has the title on it, is called, yes, you got it, title page. So a title page not only has the title, but it also has the author and the illustrator and the publisher, right? So At the Mountain's Base, written by Traci Sorrell, illustrated by Rexroat on the title page, okay? So, very interesting book. I think you're really going to enjoy it, and I hope you have fun learning about what happens at the mountain's base.
Hello, and welcome to our story Read Aloud. The book I'll be reading today is titled At the Mountain's Base. The author of this book is Traci Sorrell, and the illustrator is Rexroat. In this book, we will come to find out about a Native American Indian family, a Cherokee family, who live in a cabin under an old hickory tree. Together they live, love, weave, cook, and sing, all the while waiting for a family member to return home. The author uses beautiful poetry, and the illustrator provides amazing images to tell this story that reveals the roots that ground us and the dreams that help us soar, the people and traditions that hold us up. Let's begin our story. At the mountain's base grows a hickory tree. Beneath this sits a cabin. In that cabin lies a cozy kitchen where a stove's fire warms. On that stove simmers savory goodness in well-worn pans. By those pans sits a grandma weaving and worrying. Around that grandma gathers a family, tending and singing. Within their song unfolds a battle, testing and demanding. In that battle soars a plane, climbing and diving. Inside that plane flies a pilot, protecting and defending. Within that pilot forms a prayer, pleading for peace. Because at the mountain's base, beneath the hickory tree, sits a cabin, and in that cabin huddles a family, waiting for her return.
Well, I hope you really enjoyed the story at the mountain's base. It was really eye-opening for me and very interesting because I found out much more about the Native American traditions, the family, their culture. So I hope you did enjoy it. So we have an activity that you're going to get to take home, and it will be inside a packet that you'll get from your teacher. All of the things that you're going to need to do this activity at home with your family is in this packet, which we prepared so that you can have a great time creating. So in your packet, you will have pages that tell how to do the project. It'll give information about what is needed. It'll give instructions on how to complete the activity, and it'll have the materials that you're going to need to do this project. The first page talks about how Indians, Native Americans, use certain designs or patterns to create blankets. So inside this packet, there is a page to practice drawing some lines, because a lot of the patterns that we can see or have learned about from Native Americans in their designs can be thick or thin, right? So on this page, it talks about the ways you can make your own pattern lines, right? This says thick lines, thin lines. So you can use your own crayon or a marker and kind of practice some of those lines to be able to start your Native American blanket. We're going to get crayons inside your packet so you can use them to be your own creative person as you do this project. You are going to get a cardboard shape that is intended to be a model or kind of a way to think of making your own Native American blanket. Okay? So it's cut out and it has holes punched. Those holes are going to help you attach what will become your fringe for the blanket. It kind of shows what someone had done, not me, but it's a pretty good drawing, of a way to make a Native American blanket using this form and pipe cleaners that you're going to take, and I'll pull one out. I had started one here. Now you can do whatever color you want. There are a variety of colors. So you're just going to go through that hole, right? Bring it through, bend it over, give it a twist, and now you've got some fringes. A lot of times pipe cleaners can have pokey parts, but we've taken our time to help round those edges for our students so that it'll be safe. If you need some inspiration or you want to think about ways maybe of patterns that Indians may have used to put in their blankets, these have a variety of shapes, right? Some look like triangles, some look like rectangles put together, diamond shapes, right? So you can do that on yours if you choose. It's all up to you. You get to be the creative person to design your own rug, okay? I would like to show you a Native American blanket that I have in my possession that I've gotten from somebody to kind of give you an idea about the way that weaving blankets, putting designs that Native Americans used to create something that to them was not only beautiful but useful. So this is a blanket that I've inherited from one of my relatives, and I'm not sure which Native American tribe or group of folks made it, but it does illustrate how patterning can be used in woven goods, such as blankets, to make your own kind of design, right? This one has the fringe. Remember how you're going to put fringe on yours with pipe cleaners? This rug has its own fringe. It has straight lines, but it looks like they kind of have little lines that go up as well. And some lines that are pointed, right? That almost look like to me to be like an arrow shape or some triangles put together. And they've used different colors, right? They've kind of created patterns how they wanted to. So this Native American blanket, as a symbol, kind of illustrates what you're going to be able to do with your own blanket and the creative materials that are inside your packet. Okay? Have fun. Have a good time exploring Native American blankets. Right? There's information in your packet about where to find some reading materials, or your folks can look it up and get some more information on Native American Indian weaving. Okay? So have fun, enjoy.